bit like having a baby. Mothers, please bear with me. The rest of you hear me out. First of all, you keep a little quiet about it. You're not sure about, you're going to tell anyone, is it safe? You tell your close friends, but then gradually word, of course, gets out, and you have to start answering questions. What's it going to be called, and how long it's going to be, and things like that. As D-Day approaches, you get a lot of worry. You think, God, is this really any good at all? Will anyone read it? Will it sell? And all those sort of questions. And I also suggest you get quite... you get quite immobilised. Pam, my neighbour Pam, knows, where is she? How many hours I spend at my keyboard. She's always saying, passing me in my ivory tower up there. So you get rather immobilised and I would say even depressed, because you're doing so little other stuff and you're working with the same text again and again. And I feel now just a bit, although excited, also a bit exhausted. I remember a good friend of mine, Helen, and having her, after when I went to visit her, had her son. I went to visit her after she'd had her son, Freddie, and talking with her husband at the door, and she popped her head out of the window and she said, Robert, never again. And that's a bit like how I feel now. But then the moment comes, your baby is born, your book is This Is My Baby, and it really is rather special. And although I've seen the cover many times before, I've seen the insides, something about holding it in your hand is a fairly priceless moment. In fact, I even remember when this baby of mine was conceived. I blame a woman rally driver. I went to a talk in Chalgrove, as you do, and she showed us a video of her going 100 miles an hour around a rally track, and encouraged us all to set our vision high and reach for the skies and push ourselves out of our comfort zone. Apologies to her because her name initially escapes my memory. And I came home and I drew up this plan and I decided I was going to write a book that summer, and I started last August. Unlike other Oxford books, John Crabtree here, a cousin of mine, writes erudite books on macroeconomics in South America. I'm afraid mine is a lighter tone, nor is to sort of necessarily a literary work. My goal was to choose a book and to write it a subject that I could finish as quick as possible. Which may sound strange, but Rob Walters and I went to hear Matthew Engel on Friday, and he said, of course, an aim of any writer is to get a book finished. So I feel actually that was perhaps quite a good steer of mine to choose a subject that I could write as quick as possible. In fact, this book even has a father, because he isn't here today, but he's in the acknowledgements. Tom Hardy of Tom Hardy Publishing gave me lots of useful ideas of additional content that I put in. And if you doubt all of that, you should have worked out that the end of May, the end of February, is 9 months. And first books are always late. So I feel justified. Just a few final things. Will this baby change my life? Well, I feel I can share now some of the comments that some of you perhaps heard. You hear writers, established writers, especially novelists, quite often say, well, actually they started writing in their teens and 20s, wrote a novel, and then they did that. But also, they say things like, gosh, what on earth's in that chapter? Or they get a question from a reader and say, which book is that person talking about? And I feel a bit like this. I pick this book up and think, God, what's in that chapter? I can't possibly remember. I'll no longer feel a fraud, because I used to advertise myself as a book coach, and that's why I'm proudly writing this badge, because it now says writer. I've had this badge for a long time. For a while I felt a bit of a fraud, but now I feel I can be a book coach. So I hope it's going to... oh yes, one other thing, before I come to the thank yous. And of course, my friend Helen, who I told you said never again. you may have guessed that she went on to have 3 more children. So there may be life in this pen yet. So last, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I've said already thank you to the gallery, but to repeat my thanks to the gallery. If you want to keep in touch with what they're doing here, there's a visitor's book just next to my books here by Isabel there. Put your name down and Jenny will keep you on the mailing list for events here. I should say that the book is dedicated to Oxfordshire County Council libraries. I've always been a fan, I know a bit out of fashion, but I've always been a fan of libraries, and I've used their resources a lot, not to write this book, but just to read fiction and place to work and computers and scans. And as well as Tom Hardy and some of the other people, well, Fakenham Prepress did the inside, for whom I've done a lot of editing and proofreading. And we have here Nikki Shields, who did the cover, so you can know where to go for good covers, and she did 2 of my leaflets are there. She did those as well. And Sophie is somewhere, who is the daughter of a good friend of mine, Sophie Collins, did the proofreading. And I've said to Sophie already that she did it at a slightly earlier stage, since when I've added a bit of content. So if you find any errors, they are mine and not Sophie's. I would still recommend her as a proofreader. I think that's all. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your hobbies, as I have done mine. Thank you all for coming. And now I can actually really relax, because I should say that Brenda, I should also thank Brenda, who's on the committee of Writers in Oxford with me. And the only other reason that we're here, as well as Jenny, the gallery owner, is that Brenda's kindly come to lock up. So I won't have to worry about what we do next. So, but we've got it for another while, as long as we can tempt Brenda to stay.
Oh yes, we.
Half an hour, 20 minutes. So thank you all very much. Enjoy.
And I think we should say congratulations.
Many more babies.
It was a